Okay, so biography of W.B. Yeats means William Butler Yeats. Uh, William Butler Yeats is an Irish poet, dramatist, prose writer, and he is one of the famous 20th century English poet. And he was born in Dublin, Ireland, and he was died in uh, 1939 in France, and then he is one of the famous uh, poet of English literature of 20th century. And he received his Nobel Prize in Literature in 1923. And as you know that William Butler Yeats is a poet of Ireland, and Ireland is a part of UK, and we know that UK it has four countries: Ireland, England, or Scotland, and Wales. Okay, so our poet W.B. Yeats was born in Ireland, and he was born in that I have said that he was born in Dublin, Ireland, and he was born in 1865. And his father, John Butler Yeats, was a barrister, but next time he became a painter. And his mother, W.B. Yeats' mother, was a daughter of a prosperous merchant in Sligo. Sligo is a city, port city of Ireland, and famous for business and other purposes. And it is situated in the western part of Ireland. And in Ireland, actually at that time, Ireland was a Catholic, Roman Catholic dominated country. The most of the people of Ireland would believe in Roman Catholicism. But our poet W.B. Yeats was believing in Protestantism. Okay. However, he is in a position of believing the pagan tradition as well, and in his belief, that is, W.B. Yeats was a Protestant from his family inheritance, but he was also a supporter of paganism, as you see. And in 1865, when Yeats was only 2, his family moved to London, and he spent much of his boyhood and school holidays in Sligo with his grandparents. Okay, so their family, or W.B. Yeats' family, moved to London, but Yeats remained in Sligo. That means the western port city of Ireland. And then this country and the scenery, the folklore, the legend of the Ireland, everything shaped the childish imagination of W.B. Yeats. So W.B. Yeats was born in Ireland and brought up in Ireland, though their family moved from Ireland to London, that is the capital city of England. And next time, in 1880, his family moved back to Dublin once again, and where he attended the high school. And in 1883, he attended the Metropolitan School of Art. As we know that his father was a barrister. However, his father practiced the art, that means the portrait. And in this way, that means William Butler Yeats attended Metropolitan School of Art in Dublin. And where the most important part of his education was his meeting with other poets and artists. One thing is that at the time of residing in Ireland with his grandfather, Ireland's folklore, Ireland's legend, Ireland's natural scenery fascinated W.B. Yeats. And next thing, when he got himself admitted in Metropolitan School of Art, there he That means W.B. Yeats got acquaintance with other poets and artists that also helped to shape his poetic minds and philosophy. Some other thing came in W.B. Yeats' mentality, that is the Theosophical School. Okay, and Theosophical School is a society that was founded in 1875, a worldwide body with the aim to advance the idea of theosophy. And actually, this is the idea, that is the theosophist will be trying to gauge the deeper spiritual reality. That means we can also call that um, mysticism. WBS was fascinated to have and shape his idea towards theosophical society, the society that are very much intended to understand the deeper spiritual reality. At the same time, he was also fascinated by mysticism, and also he loved the poem of William Blake. Also, William Blake, we know that William Blake is a visionary poet of Romantic period. And in the same way, W.B. Yeats is also a visionary poet. And he was also encouraged by Platonic ideas and also Neoplatonic ideas of form. Okay. So in case of religious belief, W.B. Yeats was a Protestant and not a Roman Catholic, though most of the people of Ireland would be believing in Roman Catholicism. W.B. Yeats was a poet who believed in Protestantism. At the same time, he was a mystic, he was a theosophist, and also he was a visionary poet. And his visionary was shaped by the natural scenery, folklore, and everything of Ireland that helped him to write his poetic poems and other things. And also another thing he was inspired, that was Swedenborgian religion. Okay, so another um, Emmanuel Swedenborg in his ideas, and next time Swedenborg initiated it as a religion. So he was also influenced by that idea. This is his belief, and next time his early poems collected in the Wanderings of Ozine and the other poems are the works of the estate, and often beautiful, but always real-freed, a soul's cry for release from circumstances. Okay, so this is his early poems. And W.B. Yeats also got acquaintance with other literary school and the other literary person, that is William Morris, W.E. Henley, and also Lionel Johnson and Arthur Symons. He also got acquaintance of this great writer and philosopher in his life. In 1881, W.B. Yeats met Maud Gonne, an Irish beauty, ardent and brilliant. And this beautiful girl was uh, was an Irish nationality. But the matter is that W.B. Yeats fall in love with that girl, and from that moment as he wrote, the throbbing of my life began. He fell in love with her, but his love was hopeless. Modgon liked and admired him, but she was not in love with him. Her passion was lavished upon Ireland, and she was an Irish patriot. So Modgon was an Irish patriot, a rebel and a rhetorician, and commanding in voice and in person. When he had joined the Irish nationalist cause, he did so partly from conviction, but mostly for love of Modgon. So in 1881, W.B. Yeats fell in love with an Irish poet or patriot, I would say, that Morgan. And Morgan inspired W.B. Yeats to be more patriotic towards Ireland nationalist movement and others. And in 1899, W.B. Yeats asked Morgan to marry him, but she declined. 4 years later, she married Major John McBride, so an Irish soldier who shared her feeling for Ireland and her hatred of English oppression. As I have said, that UK uh, is combined with four countries, that is England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. So Ireland was a part of UK. Especially this Ireland had been oppressed by the British government, and the people living in Ireland had a rebellious attitude towards England. And Morgan was, in that sense, was a supporter of Ireland's um, nationalistic movement. And W.B. Yeats, he fell in love with Morgan, but Morgan was in love with her country. And next time, Morgan fell in love with Major John McBride, and Major John McBride was a soldier. So Morgan married this soldier, Ireland soldier, Major John McBride, whose name we will be seeing in Easter Rising, that is 1960. In that poem, we will see the person's name, that Major John McBride. So this is to the end of his life. Yeats remained a director of this theatre, that means the Dublin Theatre, which became the Abbey Theatre in 1904. And in the crucial period from 1899 to 1907, he managed the theatre affair, encouraged its playwrights, notably John Millington Synge, and contributed many of his plays. So he became the theatre director, that means the Abbey Theatre, the first theatre of Ireland, and he was the director of that theatre until his death. In 1917, Yeats asked Iswielt Gone, that means Morgan's daughter, to marry him. She also refused. Some weeks later, he proposed to Miss George Hyde Lees and was accepted. And they were married in 1917, a daughter, Anne Butler Yeats, that means a daughter of W.B. Yeats, was born in 1919, and a son, William Michael Yeats, in 1921. So his daughter's name, that means Anne Butler's Yeats, based on W.B. Yeats' daughter, W.B. Yeats wrote a poem, A Prayer for My Daughter. That poem we will also be reading in our course. And in 1922, on the foundation of the Irish Free State, Yeats accepted an invitation to become a member of the new Irish Senate. He served for 6 years. In 1923, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. So this is, he died in January 1939 while abroad, and the final arrangement for his burial of Ireland could not be made. So he was buried at Roquebrune, France. And the intention of having his body buried in Sligo was thwarted when Second World War began in the autumn of the 1996. And in 1948, his body was finally taken back to Sligo and buried in a little Protestant churchyard of Drumscliff, as he specified in Under Ben Bulben. That is the epitaph. So this is the story of W.B. Yeats biography. That W.B. Yeats was born in Ireland, and he was awarded Nobel Prize in Literature in 1923. And his poetic mind was shaped by the natural scenery, philosophy, folklore, and other things that was initiated from the Ireland's nationalist movement, and also mythology that we have learned. He fell in love with Morgan, but Morgan refused his marriage proposal. Next time, he married to Miss George Hyde List, and uh, from her they have two children, one daughter, and Butler Yeats, and one son, William Michael Yeats. And he died in France, and next time his burial activities was done in Ireland. So this is in nutshell the biography of the famous 20th century English poet and dramatist W.B. Yeats.